So in the animal kingdom, right? Most animals in the animal kingdom, most animals they will mate, right? And then they'll go off on their journey and then they'll mate and they'll eat along the way and they'll sleep and they'll drink water and then they'll mate. Got the lion. And then there's other animals, what I call pack animals, where you've got, say, 50 cows, right? Now there's, say, a female cow or multiple female cows. Then you've got male cows. Now, the most dominant male will barge the other males out the way who try and mount the other cow, and this male will get that mate. Now, unless that male is sleeping or fucks off to another tribe, he's always going to be the one that mates any of the females in that pack. None of these other guys will ever get any sex, or shall I say cows. None of those other female male cows, because of the size difference, will ever get sex. So really, in that pack, you've got one male getting sex, the other male's not. And depending on whether the females in that pack want to breed, they might get mated. The alternative is a wild lion sort of going off hunting and finding it, and that's it. Humans, we're supposed to be together with one person, one mating partner forever. And it's absolutely nonsense, right? I'm polyamorous. What that means is I believe in loving lots of different people, having sex with lots of different people, not necessarily seeking sex, but being able to explore sex if the opportunity comes along. For example, sex to me is the highest, powerful, strongest feeling a human being can ever feel. It is that bit before life is created. Universal energies coming together, bang. Animals, life itself, acorns from a tree. It's that powerful bit before life is created. And you need to experience that and go with that feeling whenever that feeling comes, that feeling of needing to mate. And this thing about one person forever, I think it's nonsense. And I think it's one of the reasons why so many people are unhappy, why so many people cheat, because once you've kind of got used to somebody, you kind of relax and your A game's off. You're not in that honeymoon phase anymore. You don't make an effort. That attraction's gone, and therefore you just become stagnant. And somebody else comes in who happens to be fitter than your partner, and natural your instincts want to mate, and then you mate, and then you end up cheating on your partner, causing shit. Kids have a load of shit to deal with. So the point I'm making is that, and I know you're the same because I heard you speak about this, you enjoy that sexual moment with that person because it's about feeling the best you can as a human being in that moment. And if you can't go with a feeling, whether it's playing football, fucking, you are feeling trapped. And that is not okay to feel trapped or feel like you are being restricted by this force of you shouldn't be doing that or it's not fair or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
I was looking forward to getting back on here with you, Oliver, because I didn't know how we were going to start the episode. And hello to all of Oliver's listeners out there. Appreciate you guys having me back. And what you were just describing is one of my favorite topics, if not favorite topic on the planet. First of all, I didn't know about the cow thing. Like that would suck unless you're the dominant male in that scenario. I would have to fight to the death and just be willing to take the L if that was the case. If I was on the smaller side. But happy that it's not that way for humans. And yeah, man, it's just what I find fascinating about us as human beings is we all being physical. You know, we're here in these physical avatars, and there's things in this life that we all enjoy more than other things. You know, it's just we're different when it comes to that, and there's levels to all of it, like infinite levels. So I always tell people, you've never had the best sexual experience that you've had, like, or that you can possibly have. Like there's more levels to it. Same thing if you like to, go skiing or bungee jumping or, read books in the park, whatever it is. There's levels to all of it as far as how much you can enjoy. And so I've always, have been a little bit. I've never subscribed to the notion that we should or shouldn't do anything that we really find enjoyable as a human, because that's why we came here. That's why we're in these physical bodies, to touch things and to smell things and to taste things and to experience life. And so when it comes to the sexual area of life, I just noticed for me that the vibrations that I've experienced as a human, there's not really a comparable vibration. Like I've done lots of cool things. Like I haven't like jumped out of a plane or anything. I probably will at some point. But it just vibrationally, there's not really anything as close to that feeling as being with another human being, sharing, the intimate moments. And again, there's levels to it. So my biggest thing, Oliver, is I tell everybody, just be honest first, be honest with yourself. Like if you are someone that, your whole life, like you just know, like you want a monogamous relationship and all these things, like just be honest with yourself and then be honest with others about that. And if you're someone that likes to experience, variety and you want to have multiple sexual partners or whatever it is, be honest with yourself first, and then be honest with everyone out there. And then the funny thing that happens is people will now get to actually make a decision for themselves based off of truth versus what most people do, unfortunately, is they know inside that they really don't think that they're going to be able to be faithful and be with one partner, but they don't also want to lose this person or not be able to have a chance to be intimate with this person. So they lie. And then all of a sudden, eventually you do what it is that you're going to do. And then now you have all the shit to deal with. And if you have kids involved, then it's even more, stuff on top of that. So I'm just a big honesty fan, because you'll find someone that is going to be a match to what you desire, no matter what it is. You might think your desire is like crazy off the wall. I promise there are people out there that also have similar desires as that.
Yeah, what's interesting is that when you are seeking something, and it's called the backwards law, you push it away, and when you stop looking at it, it comes to you, right? When I truly surrendered to seeking sex, love, connections, friendship, just having a specific thing I wanted and then seeking it, never ever happened. And then I just thought, fuck it, I just can't be asked anymore. And I just wanted connections with a human being, right? And then they just come. So many just came. Now, whether I'm intimate with one of them, five of them, none of them, it's besides the point. It's about being able to explore an opportunity, should it arrive in that moment, through a connection with a human being. So many people seek sex and then they want a certain hair color, certain body color, certain this, certain that, as opposed to seeking a connection with a human being, wanting to be in that person's company. And if the sex happens, which technically it should do if you're male and female and you find each other attractive, the sex will happen. But rather than a one night stand where this person's a stranger afterwards and you can't even cuddle them, you already know them as a person, you love them as a person, so you can cuddle with them afterwards. You're comfortable with them, you're not nervous, and that is amazing. And like, when you think about these days how many people follow a pattern of marriage, mortgage, kids, and then that's pretty much it. Life is over. You go to school, you go to college, you get a job, you get a flat, not going to rent and waste money or get a mortgage. Then I get a dog, then I'll have a kid. It's a boy, I want a girl, then I get a boy and a girl, and it's just nonsense. Okay, where everything is about freedom. Like, you look at shooting stars, it doesn't know where it's going to fuck off and float to or shoot down to. It just flows wherever it does and just ends up where it is and just disperses and then starts again. And you're right, if you are open from the get-go with any human being, who you are, what you want, they have a choice to engage in that type of life or not. They can choose to be a friend. They can choose to fuck you once, fuck you 5 times. They can choose to love you without sex, love you with sex. They can choose to want exclusivity, try and make you become exclusive to them. But they know from what you've said that you do not want to be exclusive. You want to explore human beings for the great, great, great human beings that they are. And they have a choice. They can choose to stay or choose to go. And if you lie or you're not truthful, they get hurt and it comes back on you. Or if they lie, then you don't know what they're thinking and feeling, so it causes shit for you. So the bottom line is, be open and honest to yourself, exactly what you want. Don't be scared out people are going to judge and react, because as you said, there's millions out there who are not like you, and there's fucking millions more who are. So just wait for those to come. Keep being honest to yourself, and everything that you want, and it goes down to manifestation, will come, because there's everything and everyone out there. There's billions of ways of there's billions of scenarios, possibilities, options for every single person to have many options.
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing, Oliver, is people are terrified of, and this has happened to me so many times, and you have to be okay with this if you're going to be 100% honest. There's been so many times where I've shared my truth with someone as far as what is in alignment for me when it comes to sexually and, as far as partnerships and all this stuff goes. And like, in the back of my mind, I was hoping that they would be down with that so that we can enjoy it, because there was a physical attraction, we were connecting and all these things. And then when that came up, and I personally, it's important to me that unless it's just like I've met someone and, it's just like hot and heavy and it just like goes there quickly, like it doesn't really need to have the conversation like, oh, by the way, like I'm not looking for, monogamous relationship. It doesn't seem like they are either. So that's not that scenario. But the scenario where you're actually getting to know someone like personally before I sleep with someone, I want them to know where I stand when it comes to this, because the last thing I want to do is like spring this on them afterwards. They're like, well, I wouldn't have had sex with you if you would have told me that before. So to me, that's not, I make sure I say that. But there's been plenty of people I've said that to, that I was hoping they would be down, and they weren't. They were like, well, they first appreciated me for my honesty and said, I feel like I would develop feelings if we go there and I might end up getting hurt. And like, so we just both can now have a mutual respect that there is honesty and we can stay friends, but we just don't have to go there, intimately. And so that's why people don't do it, though, is because they're wanting to still have the result that they want. And to me, that's just like a manipulative, make it happen. Like, I'm going to say and do anything to get the results. That's not really how manifestation works. And that will cause some contrasting experiences in life, and possibly some unpleasant experiences with other human beings. And I just personally, you have to be willing for a person to say, yes, I'm in alignment with what you want. And you also have to be willing for the person to say no. And you're not in control of either. You can just attract people that will say yes.
So I know you like the ladies, right? But when I watched one of your podcasts and you were speaking about using sexual energy to make yourself feel the best you can feel in that moment, I was like, this fucker's just now translate to this. Go back in the day, emperors, kings, King Henry VIII. King Henry VIII had 8 wives, right? So is it that people who are in control of themselves, understand how life works, powerful beings within themselves, who are followed by other people, and they mentor other people who they influence, are these people, if you go back in time, do they all have multiple relations, multiple partners, multiple mating people, right? If that is the case, why is that? Is it a learnt trait, or is it because you are this massive energy that you attract all these lower energies and have so much option that, like a businessman, you don't want to take any cards off the table? Because if you look at all these emperors and Jesuses and whatever, I don't know about Jesus, but people, King Henry VIII, and even like Saudi Arabia princes back in the day, right, or whatever, they all seem to have multiple wives, multiple partners, or a mistress and a girlfriend, like a wife and a girlfriend, like footballers do. What is it with people strong and in tune to universe, not wanting just to be restricted with one? You know what I mean?
I truly believe it's, if you have serious love for yourself and you understand who you truly are, then you have an overflow of love to share. So for me, it's just been a matter of if I'm face to face with someone and we're connecting, I just know that this is another expression of me. It's just, they're in a different physical avatar, but but they have a whole different set of life experiences. So to be able to find out what that is and to be able to vibe with them. I mean, if there's a physical attraction, that's not limited to, for me, that's not just limited to, I only have enough love to share with this one human. I have enough love to share with whoever's in front of me in the present moment. And that's how I've always looked at it. So, again, not everybody's going to be okay with that, but that's just my truth. And so I think the people that you mentioned, the kings throughout time, and all of these people, I think that they had enough self-love, and they realized that they had more love to give, and it was just personal desire. I mean, more than anything, that's what they wanted.
So it goes down to being honest, right? Yesterday I did a podcast with somebody, and pretty much it was all about honesty, not lying to yourself, and your actions do not match what your surroundings are. What you're saying doesn't match what is outside of your head. And if you're honest with people from the get-go, they have a choice to be part of this or not. Now, as you say, most of the time, even me, you start to get some kind of feelings, right? It's a natural thing to start to feel something more than what you initially felt. If it's the other person, right, normally that's when they push away. They kind of wish or hope that they can enjoy your time sexually for however long it lasts, not get attached. But when they do get attached, then they go. And that's okay. We kind of know that, right? Same for me. Sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I could be exclusive. Maybe I could kind of commit to one person. And then when it comes to that, I'm like, I can't fucking commit to one person. There's so much more in life. It's just this feeling is getting so intense because it's such an amazing high, like sniffing cocaine or whatever you want to call it, right? It's a drug. You want more of that drug. But as you know, I don't personally know, that when you take a drug, the high next time isn't as strong, right? So you can't just think, oh my God, this is amazing, I'm going to be exclusive, because the sex wears off, the attraction wears off, and you're back to where you were. If you don't say how you feel from the beginning, they feel like you could be a special person. This person, no, he's a great guy, good looking guy, got lots of money, good body, nice person. It's a great person. Too good to be true. Oh, by the way, after we have sex, I can't be exclusive. bitch, you want to remember? And you hurt their feelings. And we're all about empowering people, making people feel good, making people become as confident as us, not hurting them for our ego or because we want to fuck them for 5 minutes. That's not who we're about. If I'm going to hurt that person, I'm pulling my pants up right away and walking off. And I'm going to buy you a coffee and say, nice to meet you as a human being, but I'm not having sex because you're going to get hurt. Because I respect people. Only dickheads would take advantage of their wisdom to manipulate people or just to getting what they want. And for me, and I'm sure it's for you, it's not what it's about. It's about two human beings enjoying a moment, bringing their vibration up and their feeling to the best possible high you could ever feel, because that is what life is about. Better than bungee jumping, because that's man-made. Attraction, sexual attraction is life, and it's all about enjoying a shared experience, whether it's once or 10 times.
Absolutely. I feel like it's a lack mentality if you're manipulating or lying, and like to me you're doing that because you are fearful that you can't attract what it is that you want. So it's a lack mentality versus an abundance mentality of, maybe this specific person might have different desires than I do, but if I have an abundance mentality, I could still like wish this person well. I could still be friends with this person or whatever the relationship turns into, and I can just attract whatever it is that I desire. So, and like the way that I've always operated, if I'm connected with someone, like if we're still enjoying spending time with each other, like there's no reason for me to say, okay, I'm no longer feel connected with you. Now, whether they might decide and evolve that they want something different, it's definitely happened. So that's not. I really don't spend much time ever thinking about what someone else is, because they're evolving, they're on their own journey. So what they want today and what they're in alignment with me today, it might be different a week or a month or a year. I don't control that at all. I'm just going to continue to evolve. And if my truth changes, then I have something new to share with someone, then I'll share that. But for now, I just share what I know now.
I'm watching a thing on Netflix, right? And it's a series based on astro projection. So this person, she was in a drug rehabilitation center. She had this partner outside who was older. She needed to get out of this her rehabilitation center. So she gave all of the finances to him. They bought this massive house, which isn't relevant. The relevance is that she would be called crazy to other people, but really she is a very in tune person. She knows things or knew things that she couldn't even see, and she was doing it from simply astro projecting. So she knew her partner was cheating on her because when she's asleep, she can do this thing where she goes into a door in her dream, lucid dreaming, right? And she can then go through that door and go anywhere in the world that she wants. So wherever her partner is, she can see what he's doing. And she knew that he was cheating on her. So what she did was, she knew it was the secretary. She found out where the secretary goes for coffee, bumped into her on purpose, right? Spilt all the coffee down her, and then they had a coffee together, and then they became friends, and then they went to the gym together, and they started to develop a relationship. And it was about her trying to take her away from her husband, so she doesn't end up losing her husband. And she did this by simply visioning what she couldn't even see. And she taught her how to do it. So you look at your hand and you pinch each one and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You look at a clock, because in your dream, if you look at your hands, often it's going to be 6 fingers or 7 fingers. So you know when you're dreaming. If you look at a clock and look at a clock again in your dream, it's going to be different, right? So all these things about making yourself aware that this is a dream, now you can take control. And so they would look for a door, go through the door, and that's where she can explore anything, right? And they did this thing where she lied down with this other guy who was in the rehabilitation center, and they switched souls. So basically, she became the personality of him, and he became the personality of her. Now, imagine you're hypnotized, okay? So you can be given hypnotherapy to be a really confident salesman, to be a chicken, right? And so you are now acting like this person, this character. When you act, you learn lines of a character. You're acting a different person. You could act the personality of Trump, act the personality of Mickey Mouse, or anybody. And if you have enough confidence and you can pull it off, people would believe that if you had the same face, same voice. So you can actually train your brain to be any character you want, right? So the question is, can you literally, through rather than not being aware you've been hypnotized, can I choose to be the soul of you? Can I choose to speak how you speak, think how you think, and act how you act, and just how you communicate with people by simply imagining how you are. For example, if a grandparent's passed away, you can tune into their spirit. And what would grandma say, right? Or what would Jesus say if he was here? And Jesus would say, "Thou shalt not kill." Can we literally change spirits to anyone we want, where it's actually me? You can be me by simply talking like this and how I talk and the hand gestures, and I can be you, but I can snap out of it at any point.
Hmm. All possibility for sure. I leave all that open to possibility. And but the great example, and that's why I'm happy you brought this up about the woman that can lucid dream and go see their husband cheating. That's why I tell people out there, like, if you think you're going to get away with anything, in your vibration is, oh shit, I don't want to get caught. Like that worry vibration just attracts the results of getting caught. So you're putting such a
Absolutely.
strong energetic like frequency out there that if you do have a wife or someone like that can tune into, like, they're going to know just without even needing to lucid dream and go figure that out. So just don't do it, because that's just, you're just attracting whatever. I've never heard of someone that just gets away forever from doing anything like it, unless you're just so cold as far as that you could just do it without having any hint of worry, or like your vibration is just like so pure. Like I just never really met anyone that could do that. So yeah, that's an interesting story, but all possibility as far as what you described, being able to take in, because I mean, I truly believe that all of us are just, there's just different, expressions here in this human body as Noel and you as Oliver, all that is anyways. And so just like we know we can tune into someone that has passed over out of this physical avatar, and we can tune in with their spirit and be able to connect with them. We can do that. It doesn't have to be someone that was related to us. Like that could be someone, you mentioned Jesus, Christ consciousness. I mean, anything. Like you can tune into that, because we're just a fractal of all that is anyways, and they are as well. So we can tune in and embody that here and now if we choose. So we know how to tune into the frequency.
So check this out. I've got a law of attraction story. There was this girl who I used to fancy the hell out of like 10 years ago, right? So nervous, couldn't say anything, right? I, for whatever reason, last weekend suddenly woke up with, oh my God, what was that girl called? And I remembered her name after trying to work out what her name was, right? Went on Facebook, saw her old profile 3 years ago, old photos, right? Went on Instagram, saw her. It was private. I couldn't see her photos and stuff. So that was it, just forgot about it. I went on a walk with my family. We were in the car. We were driving in a certain place. We drove past her house and I visualized how I delivered a business card through the door and stroked her cat. Then we went through the high street and I visioned where her dad used to cycle on the bike. He used to always go through the high street to go to the gym or to go to work, right? And then all of a sudden it starts to rain, so we prolong our walk and instead we just drive around and just see like what other walks are in the near area. And all of a sudden we're going down this country road and I'm looking in front and there's three girls. There's two blondes and one brunette. Okay. And we're approaching those girls and I'm looking forward and I'm like, holy fucking shit. That's her. That is her. That is the person I've dreamt about when I woke up. Searched on Facebook. I said, Mum, look, I've just searched it on my Facebook. That was her name. Look, she's right in front of me. I've not seen her, thought about her for like 10 years. This morning I thought about her. I searched on Facebook. She's right in front of me. That is law of attraction. And then I explained how the law of attraction works and how your thoughts are not your thoughts. They're everyone else's thoughts. Collectively, all our thoughts go into like a basket, all mixed around, and they kind of merge into one. So if my thoughts are thinking of her and my dad's thinking of seeing a cow and mum's thinking of a coffee shop, then it'll kind of take the nearest route where we can see a coffee shop, cows, and the person in question. It kind of the path of least resistance, let's just say, right? And so magnetically, my dad was drawn down this road for whatever reason, because that person was over there. So it's like a fishing rod. You throw a fishing rod out, the line is straight, but the fish can swim around left, right, left, right, left, right. As long as you keep pedaling that line, it's going to come to you, even though it might be going left, right, left, right. So my dad's going left, going looking at the cows. My mum wants to go right past the coffee shop. But the main goal where we're going to end up is down that path, because that's where the attraction is. That's where the energy of that person is. And all of a sudden, Noelle, she was right in front of me and I couldn't fucking believe it. I haven't seen her for so long, but I was like, she looks so different, man. And as the car drove past, I just stared at her and I was like, holy shit, manifestation is happening. My thoughts are attracting shit in real time, and that means good things are coming my way.
I love it. I love law of attraction stories, and just being, once we're mindful of that they're happening all the time, they start happening more and more frequently. And I've been affirming for a while now. At the beginning of every week, I'll affirm that, and be grateful for, because that's a huge one. Like the vibration of gratitude. Like anytime someone says thank you to us, or excuse me, anytime someone gives us something, what do? We automatically say thank you to them. At least most people do. And so the energy of receiving is one of gratitude. And so if you can be grateful for the things that you're excited to manifest prior to seeing any evidence of it, it's just supercharging it. So what my part of life that I've wanted to see more of are just awesome human connection, just people that are showing up that want to partner with me in business and just in life. And so every week I start off and I'm just like, I'll do a social media post just affirming all the awesome people that I'm going to meet, that right now at the time of this recording, I don't even know they exist on the planet, and they don't know that I exist, but we're going to attract to each other's path. And now all of a sudden, and this happens every week, like just people from all over the world, online, offline, and it's anything that we want to manifest and attract. Like if we could be grateful for it prior to, and just know that it's happening in divine timing, we don't have to figure out like to go this left route or this right route. Like we just flow with life, whatever we're drawn to. And Oliver, you give great examples of that. Just trusting like the next like intuitive nudge is what I call, like whatever's like our intuition is telling us like go this way. Don't question it. Like just do that. And I'm really, really big on that as well. Just inspired action, because that's leading to whatever is meant for me synchronistically. That's going to lead to the manifestation. So I love this conversation.
Tell me a law of attraction story in person, not an online thing, not your group thing, whatever. Physically in person, a law of attraction story. The last one that comes to your mind. Like thinking of an uncle's cousin who you've not seen for millions of years, and then he's in the cafe having something like that. I love stories like this.
We'll do my favorite law of attraction story, and I actually just was prompted to think about it.
Or the most recent one, let's just say.
Okay. Okay. So for a specific well, nobody that I've known like already, like you see, a lot of mine are just because I'm asking for just random humans that I don't know yet. So with yours, with the girl that you looked up on Facebook, I can't remember one like that because I haven't really tried. I'm so like just open for the adventure of the new humans that show up, and a lot of it has to do with building the business that I'm building, and because it has to do with people all over the world. So it'd be tough to think of like one where it's like I knew specifically the person, because I haven't really been asking or looking for that. Okay, I'll tell you one. Actually, no, I'll tell you one. Just pops in my mind. I was like, I know there's got to be someone. So
Yeah.
it happened online, but I was talking about the person in person to someone else, and I was talking about how much different I am now, years later, than I was when I was younger. I used to be really confrontational and could go from like 0 to 100 really, really quickly. And like when my parents got divorced, like I went to school the next day and got in. I was one of those days where I was like, if anyone says or does anything today, it just wouldn't be the proper day for that. And I ended up like getting into a fight and like stabbing a kid with a pencil in his hand, and it was just like all bad. But my point to that was, and then that led me to a previous encounter when then this dude messaged me that I hadn't talked to in over 20 years on Facebook, like literally like within 24 hours of this conversation. But it was a guy that I kind of started it, got into an altercation because we were talking about broken bones, and he kicked me in my thumb and broke my thumb. I could have only been like 8 years old. This was my first broken bone. And he messaged me on Facebook within 24 hours after we hadn't talked since 8 years old. So like that just popped into my mind recently, but it's a trip when you like give attention, and because it was like I gave that conversation wasn't just like a casual throwing it out there. Like energetically, like I felt how I used to interact as far as like, and I didn't get into lots of fights, but I got into a few at one at each school at least that I went to, and I went to different schools just to, but my point is attention and energy on this human, and then all of a sudden they message me and I still got to connect with him. All love to him out there. Mac None Such the Third. Give him a shout out.
I got three questions. Well, first of all, I stabbed the person with a pencil in his hand, and I got into a lot of shit because of lead poisoning and all that shit. Secondly, what date is your birthday? The number?
I'm gonna tell you this. So I got in even more trouble because they of course called the police on me well, here's why I did it. First of all, like I had a baseball game later that day, and I'm an athlete, and that's all that I cared about as a kid and just all throughout. And like we're standing up in class, and the little silly trick that kids do where they pull the chair out from under you. So this kid thought it was a good idea to do this. And so he pulled it out, but not all the way out. So my tailbone hit the side of the chair and I could barely get up. So the pencil was right next to me. And so it was just a natural reaction. Like it wasn't like thought out, premeditated. It was just, so they take me to the principal's office and they bring the police in there. And they said, son, you could give him lead poisoning. And I said, wait, aren't pencils made with graphite now? Like what? And he was so upset with me. Like, all right, you're going to be suspended.
Listen, smart ass.
So, October 6th is my birthday.
Okay. So what was I going to say is, right, I got bullied when I was, say, primary school, when I was, say, between 7 and 11, right? And I was so traumatized by it. I used to get dreams of me beating up the bullies because it's about me having control over them now, all through like secondary school and college. So people that from primary school, like 10 years ago, I used to have dreams every now and then of me fighting them. So I hadn't dealt with it basically. And when I was 21 and my awakening, I was healing all my trauma. And I was in my mind forgiving these people for what they did and going through all the stuff that they did and then forgiving them. Every single thing that was affected me, like when he punched me, when he stabbed me, when he kicked me, when he did this, I would forgive each bit. And as you were saying, we're focusing on all the energy on a conversation rather than just a random 2-minute conversation. I was spending so much time thinking about these people that I saw this person who I hadn't seen since primary school because I was blocking from seeing them again, because last time I saw them they would tap me on my helmet and push me over and shit like that. I blocked them out of my life. When I was forgiving them, I saw that person 3 days in a row, right? And then I never saw them again. So communication, conversation is charging the universe. Like your words are charging. The more you speak about something, it's charging, and it's literally attracted this person into my life. His brother walked down my road. I went into the job centre, he was there. I went into Tesco's, a shopping centre, he was there. And I hadn't seen him for like 10 years. And then all of a sudden, because I'd let it go and I'd healed myself, never saw them again. Haven't seen them since that day. I'm 28 now. I was 21. Haven't seen them since. So I didn't see him for 7 years, whatever. Saw them for 3 days in a row. Didn't see them for 7 years since. So with anything, when we're speaking, whether we like it or not, it's going to come into our life. It's just if you're aware that that person over there will see you were speaking about. If you're not aware, then you won't really become aware that you were speaking to your mate about that guy, and then he messages you on Instagram. But fucking hell, the law of attraction stories that people out there have and can tell are phenomenal. Like it really charges me, because that's me, that's you all the time. Like Bob Proctor said one where he was going on a plane somewhere and he emailed that person, he didn't get a response, and he sat on the plane and the guy next to him was the person who he emailed, and he said, by the way, I got your message, because he hadn't responded yet. Just shit like that, man, is unbelievable.
It shows how powerful we are. That's why I recommend everybody just be speaking and thinking about whatever things that you want in your life versus speaking of things that you. I'll tell you a law of attraction the other day. I was with my partner here in Tulum, and we had some red wine, and literally, actually, there's a wine glass in the apartment, and literally, I said, "I'll give you $100 if you can go this whole time we're here in this apartment without breaking that wine glass," because it was like the stem was like so thin and it was so flimsy, and so like the bet was on, and literally like. Was it the same night? Like literally within 24 hours, we have red wine in there and it's on the thing. And I must have karate chopped this glass. Like the most, I've never hit a glass harder in my life. I'm like, how did I hit? Like, and it just exploded everywhere. And it's like, well, I guess you won the bet, because I just made it impossible for you to break this glass because it is shattered everywhere.
No, it's like, for example, if you're trying not to knock over your glass at the table, you're trying so hard not to, consciously or unconsciously, that your energy is focused on that glass because you don't want to focus on it, that your hand gestures are over there. Or for example, many times I've been holding a drink, walking up the stairs, or doing the dishwasher, holding a glass, and a little voice in my head says, you're going to drop it. I don't do anything about it, and I fucking drop it. So what does that tell me? Does it tell me that my brain knew I was holding the glass differently to how I normally do, with less grip? Or is it telling me that what you are thinking is going to happen unless you cut that fucking thought out your head right now. And you'll do something. You'll bang your elbow and you'll drop the glass. So you created it by your thought. And I think the answer is it's both. If in that situation you're holding the glass wrong, your brain knows it. If you don't trust your instinct, you're going to drop it. At the same time, if you're thinking something, you will do something until it happens. Like many times, I suddenly think I'm going to bite my tongue, and I bite my tongue, and I don't bite my tongue ever, and I don't think about biting my tongue. So why is it when I think I'm going to bite my tongue that I do it? It's because I'm focusing on it, and I'm chewing a different way. I know consciously or unconsciously how I'd have to chew in order to bite my tongue. That my brain is controlling the muscles and the nerves in my tongue to bite a certain way, so I bite my tongue. It really is fucking incredible how our thoughts are connected to our nerves, connected to our bodies and our arms to literally do that. But interestingly enough, when I was asleep the other day, just as I nodded off listening to a YouTube video about power of the mind, law of attraction, whatever, my arm suddenly goes up in the air. My arm just suddenly lifts up and I bang it against the wall. So for whatever reason in my brain, something happened where my arm just flicked up. And I'm thinking, God, if I had a person in bed with me, I could punch her in the face. Fuck. Literally, just bang my vision board I did with all my vision shit on, just banged it. And the first thing I thought was, shit, hopefully I didn't wake my mum up.
I always wonder about that. Like, because it's never happened to me, but I wonder if that happens more. Like if you're out there and you've ever like hit someone in your sleep or been hit in your sleep, like it's never happened, but I'm surprised it doesn't happen more because some pretty wild sleepers out there.
Some things just come to my mind. One of the girls that I was sleeping with, right? I need her in the back. I need her in her lower back, like a proper knee. So, for example, I must have been jumping up some stairs in my sleep because for whatever reason she was like laying here and her head was on the pillow, but I was kind of halfway up the bed, so my whole body was on the pillow, right, rather than my head. So therefore my knees were in alignment with her back. And I just remember kneeing her in the back and going, I'm sorry. And she's like, oh, fuck, it's okay. Poor fucking girl. I need her in the back. And she's quite small. Jesus Christ, imagine if it was a hand. That's bad enough. But kneeing somebody, I mean, it's quite scary to think about it. Like the power of just, if you're playing tennis in your dream, you're going to proper swing that bat. And Bruce Jenner, okay, and Kris Jenner, before they split up, they stopped sleeping in the same bed because Bruce kept hitting Kris. And if you go on YouTube and you can watch the video of them talking about it or the night footage, he just used to keep hitting her. She used to wake up with bruises.
So it does happen.
Oh my god. Do you ever sleepwalk?
No, not that I've ever been told. I'm one of the things I'm most thankful for is like I sleep pretty hard and like it's like very quickly. So it's just like 1 second I'll be awake and then all of a sudden I'm knocked out like cold. So that allows me, which I don't suggest this out there because most people I don't think can do this, but sometimes because I'm working with people in different time zones, I'll get up and 4 a.m. and I'll see something that I want to reply to. And I might even leave a voice note at 4 in the morning, and then I'll be back to sleep like within like seconds. Like it just I'm very happy about this area of life.
On that topic, I've done that. I used to buy and sell on eBay years ago, right? And I never used to put my phone on silent. I was always working, right? I used to wake up and get emails back from clients, or text messages back from clients, or Facebook messages back from people, and I've no idea that message that I sent. So at night time, it would have pinged, I would have replied to them, got on to sleep, completely forgot that I replied to them, and all of a sudden they're messaging me like something I replied during the night, and I've no idea what I wrote. And I'm reading back that message like, what the fuck? That wasn't me. What the hell? And like you, I go to sleep very quickly and I wake up at the same time and I sleep all the way through like a baby. Not so much anymore. And it might have been because I used to eat before bed. I don't really know why. But I used to wake up kind of standing or sitting, kneeling at the end of my bed or the end of my door, kind of just facing the door. So I'm literally at the end of my bed, kneeling, sitting, squatting, standing, facing the wall, right, or the door. And all of a sudden I become aware that I'm just up against the wall. My nose is up against the wall, right? And then I just go back to sleep. And then a few days later, I suddenly become aware. Did I? What was I doing? Did I just stand by my door like I'm in detention in school, right? What the hell? And then I go back to sleep. Years ago, when I was younger, I've always sleptwalked since like 5 years old to 15 or even like whatever, up to 20 years old. I've always sleptwalked. I've always gone out of my room, gone into my parents' room, gone downstairs, said something to my parents, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, like I've had a stroke or something, right? And they used to go back to bed, and I used to go back to bed, right? And one time my phone rang, and my sister handed me the remote control for the TV, and I went, "Hello, hello, hello," and I was literally tapping the remote control, which my brain thought was a screen, and there was no one there. My sister, she was just laughing at the door. Um, I don't, but why is that? Why? Like, what makes a person's brain kind of can't differentiate between reality and not? And is it a specific type of genetic thing or an energetic thing? Is it excessive brain activity? Is it something you've eaten, which kind of like cheese, for example, that's supposed to do some chemical shit? Like, I've always slept
I
well.
must have got I must have got traumatized as a kid because the last time I remember sleepwalking, it was a kid, and I must have traumatized me to where I never did it again. But I visualized. I don't know if anybody's had this, but I thought that I was in the bathroom, and like I was in my bedroom, and I just like peed in my room, like literally out, and I couldn't have been more than like 7 years old. But needless to say, my mom was not happy about that at all. And so like that must have traumatized me enough to where I just stay my ass laying down in the bed.
So,
But that's the last memory I have of sleepwalking.
when people say they get up and go to the toilet at night time, I can't seem to understand why, right? And like what I realized is if you stop drinking 3 hours before you go to bed and you go to the toilet before you go to bed, and then, 3 hours before you go to bed or even an hour before, you're not going to need a wee during the night. So the reason why people wee during the night is because they're literally drinking before they go to bed. Why are they drinking? Probably because they're thirsty. They've eaten crap. They've eaten crisps or snacks and some shit. So they're literally chugging a pint of water down, right? And you'll feel better about this. I was pissing the bed up until 23, 24, right? I'm 28. Why? Because in my dream, and it might be to do with how the fact that I manifest things so quickly because I don't know the difference between reality and what's in my brain, because everything that's in my brain becomes a reality. In my dream, if I need the toilet for whatever reason, I go into a bar, I go into the cubicle, I go into a bush, right? And I take a piss. Wherever the toilet is, right? And all of a sudden I'm thinking, fuck, I can feel warmth down there. I'm thinking, oh fuck, it's a dream. And I wake up and I've pissed myself, right? So I'm talking like literally 4 years ago was the last time I pissed myself. I haven't done it anymore because I realised why. I used to drink before bed. Now I don't drink 3 hours before. Anyway, so I used to take off my boxes, my dramas, whatever, put them in the basket, put new boxes on, and go to bed. 23 years old, and I've been doing this in my dream, going to toilet in my dream, and then realizing, shit, this isn't a dream. No, shit, this is a dream, and I'm pissing myself. I've been doing that since I was 5 years old. And when you think about how old people wee themselves, or disabled people wee themselves, or drunk people wee themselves, there's no embarrassment or shame about pissing yourself. Dogs wee themselves and the puppies, dogs shit themselves when they're dying. What is this thing about weeing themselves? And it's like kids being afraid to tell their parents they pissed themselves. It's part of life. If you go to the toilet in reality when you need to go to the toilet, what's the difference between whether you're dreaming or not? The only difference is your brain didn't realize that you're dreaming. So there should be no shame in pissing your bed at, in my case, 24 years old. And this used to happen so often. So often.
Well, you know why? Most people, because this is the first time I've ever heard anyone say anything about stopping
It's never been at
drinking
24.
three hours before. I've never heard that before, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Like, how long should it? Because I had a phase where, like, if I'm working out a lot, like consistent, like if like I I work out, but not. I go in phases where I'm like 5, 6 days a week, and in those phases, I'm just drinking lots of water, like constantly throughout the day. And I'd never have thought to cut it off, like going towards bed. And I would wake up. There was a phase where I remembered it was for like 2 months straight, and it was actually getting really annoying. But it was like every day, like clockwork. It was like it was super early, like 4 o'clock. It was just the time, and then it just was. I was actually having a hard time because my body felt rested. Like it's one thing like waking up and like doing something real quick and then go back to sleep, but then actually walk to the bathroom and like have to turn the light on and like start to see stuff. Like now I was feeling awake, so it was actually messing up my sleep for a little while. So it's the first time that I've heard though to stop drinking beforehand. No, I don't think anybody thinks about that.
For example, right, if you go to bed at 12 o'clock, yeah, stop drinking 3 hours before. So I stopped drinking at 8 o'clock. And when I say drinking, I mean water. I just have water. Now, if you're hydrated throughout the day, you shouldn't need to be drinking 3 hours before bed, right? If you've had your 2 liters throughout the day, you don't need to have a fucking like cup of coffee or whatever you want to do it before bed. You're hydrated, right? So for example, I have a liter of water before 12 o'clock because I fast until 12, right? And then I just have a liter of water from 12 until whenever. As long as I finished it, I've had my 2 liters. I don't need three. I don't need. Yeah, I need to have at least two, right? So I'll have, say, a coffee or green tea before bed, right? 9:30, 10 o'clock. That's fine because I've stopped drinking my constant liters of water at 8 o'clock. I've had a piss at 8 o'clock, right? I've had another piss, say, 10 o'clock, and a piss just before bed. So that coffee or that green tea I've had doesn't do anything. I literally can go the next day. I can wake up at say 7 o'clock, have my first wee at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Because I've hydrated throughout the day, I've removed all my toxins. There's no toxins left to remove. So all the water in me, my body's keeping hold of. It's good water. It's fresh, right? So now when I start drinking new water, it removes the old toxins. So as long as you're up to date and you kind of keep on that cycle, you never need to piss like that. So 3 hours before bed, stop drinking. You can have a drink before bed if you want, coffee, whatever. Piss before bed, 5 minutes. Piss an hour before. Piss 3 hours before. I can guarantee you, you won't be pissing during the night ever again. And I haven't been pissing during the night since I stopped drinking at 8 o'clock. And once when I had a takeaway, made me thirsty. I had loads of water, and guess what? Woke up and had a piss during the night. So I know this for a fact.
That's good. That's good insight for people. I don't think anybody's ever thought about that. That's good insight. I love it. What do you? I'm ask you a question. What's life like out there? What are you most focused on right now? What's things look like in Oliver's world these days?
So the only thing that I've ever wanted in my life is to be a millionaire and for a girlfriend, right? That's what I always wanted growing up. When I was 21, I wanted the girlfriend, I wanted the one, and I wanted the million quid. I haven't got any of that. I realized why. Okay. I realized why I never had a one girlfriend because I was never like anyone else. So no one ever felt in harmony with me. So I've scrapped the idea of being one person forever. Okay. I said to myself, I'm either going to be one person forever or multiple. I met my twin flame. I was like, yes, this is it. We're going to be together. Then she said she can't have been with anybody, obviously, because they're the same person. So what did I expect? What was I expecting? My twin flame to kind of want marriage and kids? No, she's my twin flame. So she's going to want what you want. Like no marriage, no restrictions, no kids. So I thought, well, that's it. I'm going to be with multiple people throughout my life. So I've got kind of relationships and people sorted. The next stage is money, right? The next stage is money. I'm so close to getting paid for my podcast that when I do, I'm going to travel the world and I will be coming to you. We'll be doing a 5-day podcast, right? And we're going to go out, go clubbing, meet some girls, whatever we're going to do, right? Go on the beach, whatever. It's going to happen. That's going to fund my travels. So now the universe, I've been working at my podcast for over a year now, right? And it's finally got to the point where I'm going to get monetization. And I've been working at this for so long. I've had no money my whole life. I'm 28. I have no money, right? Because I've always just focused on just creating something that can just last forever. And I was always choosing money to make money or things that were going to make me the most money rather than passion. Now I focus on passion. As you know, money just comes. And so right now, everything is coming my way. Ironically, I do believe things go in patterns of 7. When I was 21, I was supposed to be a millionaire. There was a belief I held since I was 18. Everyone at school was like, you know, you're going to be nothing in life. I said, yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire when I'm 21. And I kept hold of that to get me through the bullying and the college and the shit. Then I was 21. I realized I had the vision. I was taking no action. Law of attraction, it was without the action. Then I binned everything I ever had just my bed and I started again. I'm almost 28. If things do go in a pattern of 7, this year I will be a millionaire. And that's what's happening right now. And I can travel the world and just bring love to humans, serve humans, drive my bike, stop off in Colorado, randomly just randomly just go into a cafe, start speaking to some people, random people. They'll invite me into their house. They'll give me food. That's what humans do. They might say stay over. We won't have to spend for a hotel. Okay, then we go out the next day, meeting humans. The best thing anyone could ever do is speaking to a human who you don't know and just being present with them and fucking loving them as a human. And it's sadly missed now. No one speaks to strangers. No one speaks to their own friends anymore, let alone strangers. No one just speaks to a
I,
granny at the bus stop.
I, speak to strangers, I know I speak to strangers way more than my friends these
Same.
days. Way more. It's not even
Same.
close. So that's my favorite part of life. And what you described is awesome because like for all of us out there, it's just if we're just focusing on like how Oliver's just a great example of just what he's passionate about doing and like this doesn't feel like really like hard like task like oh I got to go record another one of these like if that's what you're doing out there it's not anything wrong with that but that's I wouldn't like stay there forever like just be open to something showing up that you can enjoy putting your time and energy into that if you wanted to put in a lot of hours into it it wouldn't feel like oh this just like I got to do all this stuff and even like right now like I'm constantly asking the universe like how can this be easier what I'm doing because I'm all about ease and flow and how can I help more people like that's like my constant ask is like how can what I'm doing be easier for me and for everybody involved and also how can we help more people and like stuff continues to evolve to answer those questions but from right now I just do what I can do with what I have from where I am and that's always enough for any of us to be the co-creators in the law of attraction world where we're being the energy of it like I'm do affirmation every day like I'm so happy and grateful now that and I'm living it like all the time and I'm feeling it every single morning and then just doing my best to live in that frequency throughout the day and be open to whatever's going to help evolve that area of life that matters to me so you're doing the same thing and I know a lot of your listeners are I'm sure doing the same thing if they've been listening to you so it's exciting it's just a fun adventure when you're in that place.
One of the things I can't wait until I'm a millionaire, right, is to get a small TV production. So I'm going to get, say, 6 cameras, hire 6 people, right? And like kind of Impractical Jokers, where they're all filming from different angles, right? And I need something to write off my taxes as an expense. I'm not sure you can just write off taxes. Like, I'm not sure you can just go up to a homeless guy, give him 100 quid, and write that off as a tax expense. However, if you're part of a TV show, it's part of creating the TV show. So there you'll be able to write off that £100 as a tax expense. But it's not about writing it off. It's about having an opportunity to give to people without it costing you twice. I'm a businessman, right? You don't want to spend things twice when you can spend it once, right? So going up to say some homeless people, giving them all money, putting them up in a hotel, taking them to a shower, taking them to the barbers, giving them a massage. Yeah, can't wait to do that. Going to say, Africa, schools, building a school, buying clothes for all these kids. Can't wait to do that. Charitable humanitarian work, serving humanity, kind of like Prince William and Kate or Harry and Meghan Markle. It's about serving humans, and people don't realize when you give or serve another human being, especially if you do not know them, you get this feeling of love and nurture, and as almost if to say, "Why are you doing this to me? You don't even know me. Why?" And you change their life, especially when no one's probably ever done that to them before. And it's a feeling that is addictive. It's a drug. When you get that pure love from somebody, unconditional for no reason, it's a drug, man. And nothing beats it. Money, sex, it doesn't beat it. I have to admit, okay, sex is good, but serving a human being and literally picking him off the street like a homeless guy and him hugging you and saying, "I fucking love you," it's better than sex, I have to admit. And it's better than having £1 million in the bank.
We can have it all. I like both.
All three: money, sex, and humans. Yeah.
No limits. That's why I tell everybody we don't have to sacrifice. This is so important. We don't have to sacrifice one area of life for another. Like we can just maybe we don't understand yet how to have both, but we can have both, and we just have to stay open to it. And again, just attract what it is that we do want. But so many people think that in order to be happy, they have to sacrifice these areas of life in order to have this area of life. And I just think that too, and it's just not true. Like we can have it all, and like that's the beautiful thing about life. We're the movie character, you're the star, and if you want your scene in the movie or you want your movie to be a certain way, then that's what it will be. But you don't get to decide how or when or where or who, like all those details as far as your co-stars, because you're not here on a movie screen by yourself. Like you have 7.7 billion co-stars, so they have a movie idea of their own as well. So just like Oliver's example of, dad wants to see cows, mom wants the cafe, and Oliver wants to see the girl. All of it can happen. Nobody has to sacrifice the cow, the cafe, or the girl in order for the other people to have what they want. That's the beautiful thing about this life.
So I love how you remember the cows and the cafe, right? And what's amazing is when people try to remember stuff, like if you have a waiter and the person says, I want whiskey, I want this, I want this. If you then go into your head, okay, they want whiskey, they want this, they want this. Fuck, what did they say? It doesn't work. If you just listen, your brain remembers every single fucking thing, right? I could have said cows, blue coat, raincoat. Your brain would have remembered that. But if you try and remember everything by relaying what you just heard and then forgetting what you're actually listening to, it doesn't work. And as you're saying, you could be the tree, the car, the director, the writer. You could be the homeless guy. You could be the extra. You could be who the fuck you want, the piece of paper, right? You could be whoever you want in your story. Because once that film is over, all the cast go back home. And then the whole life starts again. Right, let's end it on there. Promote anything you want to promote.
You guys just connect with me I'm the angel of abundance on all the social medias, and come join us with Universal Abundance. We're spreading consciousness and helping everybody manifest abundance as much as they desire so that they can enjoy the life how they want to enjoy it. So the angel of abundance, come find me and let's hang out.
Right, anything else before I press stop?
No, man, I appreciate you and all your listeners out there. You guys are awesome. Sending you guys all positive vibes. Enjoy yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Be easy on yourself and enjoy this life.
All right, wait there 1 sec.